Hello everyone. Today is the rather called the judgment day of this year's World Cup itself. In few hours time we're going to see the final match between the France and obviously Croatia, the team which can definitely win the World Cup itself. The game is to be held on in the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow, and we know both the teams are ready to play the big match. Today in Googly Goals, powered by Googly Mania, we have eminent football historian, media manager of East Bengal club, Gautam Rai sir.
Yes.
So it's been a privilege to have him, and truly it is our pleasure that we have a person of his caliber. He has been looking into this game, this beautiful game, from pretty close observation, and being a part of a club itself, a century-old club. He knows the thits and bits of football club. So we'll be knowing so many inputs regarding this fascinating match today. First and foremost, sir, I would like to say, on paper, the French team looks to be much stronger than the Croatian one. But we have seen so many upsets in this year's World Cup. Small teams have played pretty well. Teams like Panama, Iceland, those who have made their debut this time around, they have also played well. And we have seen teams like Belgium, they have also come up with good performances. So in realistic way, what do you think this Croatian team, these players like Modric, Rakitic, Brozovic, Mandzukic, Perisic, can this team of Croatia come up with a surprise against the Le Blues?
Yes, Croatia is definitely on the brink of history. This opportunity they have got. I think they'll never get it again. They reached the semi-finals in 1998.
Absolutely.
And since this time, though they may be the underdogs, they may be well, not the favorites, that is, but I think they will go all out and each of their players should give more than 100%, because this opportunity will not come back to Croatia again. Man to man, France is superior. Only in the midfield, I think, Croatians have this Luka Modric, who's definitely been the best midfielder in the world this year's World Cup, and Rakitic, who can create problems for the French midfielders like Kante and Pogba and Blaise Matuidi also. But though it will be a game on the midfield, but French team has got a lot of varieties of attack, especially their young team, and the pace. And if Croatia can control their pace, they will definitely have a chance. The French team's pace, that is.
2 years back, we remember that in the Euro finals also, France was there and they were playing against Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal. But in that match itself, in spite of dominating the match, in spite of having more than 60% possession, France couldn't win it. They have the same coach, Didier Deschamps, the captain of the French team, which won the World Cup in 1998. So do you think, sir, that they have that extra bit, that X factor in Kylian Mbappe, who can give the perfect edge to the French team against the Croats?
Yeah, not only Kylian Mbappe, he's definitely one of their trump cards, but Antoine Griezmann, Paul Pogba, all these players, and even Pavard, the defender who can come up and score. The French team definitely has the superior edge and the more experience and can soak in the pressure of a World Cup final much better than any other team who will be having a lesser experience. In fact, if you look, the French team has been very consistent in this World Cup, though Croatia has won all their matches, but 3 of them on penalties. And the French team, on the other hand, except for one goalless draw with
the last group league match.
Group league match with Denmark, I think.
Yes.
And they have also won their matches convincingly. And each and every match, and the game they played against Belgium in the semi-final was also very outstanding. And the manner in which they controlled and got the goal and then defended stubbornly, which England didn't do against Croatia.
Absolutely, you're right, because in the semi-finals, when we saw England playing against Croatia, in the very first 15 minutes itself, when Trippier bent it like Beckham in the first 10 minutes, they scored the goal. But after that, England lost the momentum. It was all about Croatia after that, and they clinched that important goal from Perisic in the extra time. Now, coming into the defense, I would like to ask you one thing that, yes, we have seen that Rafael Varane, along with Samuel Umtiti, one who plays for Real Madrid, and who plays for Barcelona, along with young Pavard. Do you think that this French defense has got the capability to play along against someone like Mandzukic, or Modric coming up front? Do they have the firepower coming into this really late, the business moment of this World Cup itself?
Yes, the French team on paper, definitely the defense is very strong, except for the match against Argentina, in which they let in 3 goals, the third one coming in the added time, and also through a brilliant Messi overhead pass. And I would say the French team can rise to the occasion and stop the Croatian players. But the Croatian, it never knows. It may happen that the Croatian players produces something out of the world and gets in the winner and hangs on. But one thing Croatia must be careful about their defense, that they should not make it so easily penetrable as they did against England, at least in the first half. They should be careful. They should be careful about players like Griezmann and Mbappe.
One thing in that aspect, sir, you mentioned about Griezmann. If we have seen Griezmann's role in this year's World Cup itself, we have seen that the French coach Didier Deschamps prefers something like 4-3-2-1 combination, where Griezmann is allowed to roam freely rather than a free role itself. And we have seen that when the team is under pressure, especially I would like to point 2 matches, one against Argentina and one against Belgium. In the match against Argentina, even there was a moment when Griezmann actually fouled Messi, and that was in the penalty box itself. So that shows the defensive capability of Griezmann as well. Again, in the match against Belgium itself, when Belgium was piling up pressure to score the goal itself, Griezmann was coming down. So that actually gave an extra impetus. Do you think, especially in a final match of World Cup itself, will Didier Deschamps push Griezmann up front, or will he still allow Griezmann to have that free role within that forward and midfield position?
You see, since you mentioned the match against Argentina, there was a...
Yes, sir, please continue.
There was a situation once when they were trailing. Argentina was leading 2-1. At that point of time, Didier Deschamps made a change from this 4-3-2-1 and made it almost 4-3-3 and brought in their wing backs to take the more attacking role. And it was from one of these movements that French equalized through a brilliant goal scored by Pavard.
Yes.
And then they continued to dominate the match immediately after that. And Argentina didn't have any clue. When the next 10-15 minutes the French played that particular football led by Mbappe, which simply put Messi's Argentina out of the World Cup.
Absolutely, but coming into this French forward line, I would also like to add one thing, that yes, we have seen that Deschamps prefers someone like Oliver Giroud up front, and they don't have someone like Benzema in the squad itself. But still, we haven't seen any goal from Giroud. He has been in the assisting chart, but in the very last match also, we have seen in 1-to-1 cases, he had a good chance to defeat Courtois, but he couldn't go. So, do you think he's becoming a botheration in the team itself, or Didier Deschamps prefers Giroud to give a supportive role to Griezmann and providing chances to someone like Mbappe?
Oliver Giroud is a striker, and he should not be really, he has not scored any goal, but he has given a number of assists. What he's been doing in the forward line, assisting Griezmann and Mbappe, is off-ball running, is throwing the rival defense off gear, which is creating more space for these two players to go and really play the role. So Giroud has a contribution in the team, in the success of the team so far.
Absolutely, sir. Sir has rightly pointed out the need with the ball and off the ball, the speeds you need. Anyhow, we'll be coming up with more inputs, more inside details of the World Cup final itself between France and obviously Croatia. Stay tuned, we'll be back pretty soon.
जिक्र जब भी जीएसटी की होती है तो नजरें ढूंढती हैं जीएसटी दोस्त विकास धनानिया को।
नमस्कार विकास जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आने के लिए।
विकास धनानिया बात करते हैं पूरी जिम्मेदारी के साथ
कि यहाँ पर गुड्स को रिसीव्ड नहीं किया गया है। हाँ, लेकिन तब आपको ये प्रूफ करना पड़ेगा कि भाई हमने तो हैंड रिक्शा से मंगा लिया है।
आम आदमी जीएसटी को जानना चाहता है, लिहाजा सवालों का अंबार है। इन्हीं सवालों को समेटते हैं हमारे होस्ट राकेश। हर ट्यूसडे और फ्राइडे रात 8 बजे होस्ट राकेश और दोस्त विकास धनानिया हो जाते हैं आमने सामने, सिर्फ आपके लिए जियो बांग्ला पर। देखिए जीएसटी की बात दोस्त के साथ जियो बांग्ला पर।
Hello, I'm Ranbir, back in Googly Goals, powered by Googly Mania, and we are discussing on today's high voltage World Cup final match between France and obviously Croatia. And we have along with us none other than Mr. Gautam Roy, who is an eminent historian of football itself. And don't forget, he's the media manager of East Bengal Football Club, which has got millions and millions of fans, not only in India, not only in Bengal, but also all over the world. Sir, coming into this match, we are back again. Seeing the Croatian team, we have seen that probably they have got the best midfield. Having some players like Rebic, Modric, Rakitic, Brozovic, and they have got pretty young legs also. And I would also like to add, they have got pretty good stamina because they have played, as far as timing is concerned, probably they have played an extra match. So what is the extra thing their midfield has got? Because in this World Cup, we have seen Germany, which has flopped. We have seen young midfielders in Brazil also. Even France has got pretty good midfield. Why do you think this Croatian midfield is so special, considering the formation which their coach Zlatan Dalic has opted for?
No, Lukas Modric is probably the best midfielder in the world today, and at least in Europe. He's played his earlier football in English Premier League. He used to play for Tottenham Hotspur. Then he went over to Spain, La Liga, to play for, I think, for Real Madrid.
Yeah, he plays for Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, and even Rakitic. They play, when they dominate the midfield, they take a lot of space. And there are three midfielders, as you said, and one of them is a holding midfielder and two of them are attacking midfielders. And one of the midfielders go for a block, or curtailing, or doing a sort of what is known as a defensive snatcher in the midfield.
I think it's similar role like N'Golo Kante's.
And then they rotate the game there itself. They try to win more balls, more possession in the midfield. When we see possession, some team may have you may suddenly see after 20 minutes Croatia having more possession than France, but it may be all in the Croatian box, in the field like that. What the Croatian midfielders are doing, they are trying to win more possession and more ball in the midfield and giving more passes, more complete passes from the midfield itself. And their forward line, in which Mandzukic is also potentially a very good striker who can seize on opportunities and attack.
Absolutely, you are right. Basically, when you're talking about ball position, I always think of Jose Mourinho, because Jose Mourinho always says that whether ball position is the most dominant parameter in today's football or not is a definite question. Because in case of our derby matches, in our matches we see in India also, the I-League matches or ISL matches, the coaches do emphasize on having ball possession. But we have seen teams winning or some inching out games with lesser ball position. I think, what is Didier Deschamps going to do if it so happens that in the first half the Croatian midfield dominates the ball position? What should be the French strategy in this set of question? Rather, I would say, what should be their plan B if the French defense concedes an early goal or Croatia has upper hand in ball position?
No, if the Croatia has more ball possession in the midfield, or they attack and get an early goal to put the French team in defense. The French team, as we have seen in the earlier matches, they can switch. Their coach, Didier Deschamps, is very clever in switching strategies. He can switch off from, as you mentioned, they are playing that 4-3-2-1 position. He can come back to 4-3-3, or maybe may not be even 4-2-4, 4-4-2 later, to negate the Croatian dominance in the midfield and use their speedy wingers to go and attack. And the French attack is definitely superior, and their potential of striking and the threat is also great. So they will do something like that. They will change. They have their plan B, and which they can alternate while the game is on itself. They can do that.
Sir, I want to mention one specific player's name, N'Golo Kante. I am a Chelsea fan, and I have been seeing him closely, how he won the trophy for Leicester City when Leicester won the Premier League. So N'Golo Kante's role in this specific French team, playing along with Paul Pogba and Matuidi. We know that as far as offensive display is concerned, Paul Pogba is a genuine midfielder. He goes up front and he has a knack of scoring goals also. And Matuidi, an industrious player, reminds me more of Makalele or Galas itself. We have seen in the match against Belgium also, the way he was going up and down reminded of someone like Lampard also. So what do you think N'Golo Kante, a player who is a pretty good snatcher and one of the best interceptors of football in the midfield, what is going to be N'Golo Kante's role against the quartet, the midfield quartet of Croatia?
He is a defensive midfielder. He will be at least marking zonally Luka Modric to cut them, to negate them on the midfield. It's a little bit N'Golo Kante's role, and use the other two wingers, Blaise Matuidi and Pogba, to use more space in the midfield to dominate. It depends. Let's see how it goes, because this game is in a World Cup final. Anything can happen.
Absolutely, because that's what we have seen in this year's World Cup. Probably one of those World Cups where predictions of the football pundits didn't work in most of the matches. We have seen early exit from Germany. We have seen Messi's Argentina flopping out, and we have seen Neymar's Brazil losing out against Belgium in the quarterfinals. Now in this match itself, we are not yet sure whether we are going to see yet another tiebreaker or an extra time finish. But one thing is to be said, that the goalkeepers are going to play an important role. On one hand, we have got Hugo Lloris, the captain of the French team, who plays for Tottenham Hotspur and is in pretty good form. And talking about Subasic, a player who has literally saved Croatia in 2 tiebreakers. So what do you think, sir? Whether Subasic or Hugo Lloris, who can be the game changer as a goalkeeper into this match?
Lloris has got a lot of experience, one I would say. I think this is his second World Cup, and he's played a number of matches for Tottenham Hotspur in the European circuit.
Absolutely.
And Hugo Lloris is, I think, quite a safe goalkeeper, and this thing. But at times he commits himself and makes mistakes. Subasic, on the other hand, is a little more calm under the bar, and it is only on rare occasions he comes out. So it will be a battle of goalkeepers also if the game stretches to the penalties. And nowadays, earlier we used to think that penalty is nothing but a lottery. Any team can win. But nowadays the coaches even work on penalties. They take the right-footed shooters. If they hit across the body, the goalkeeper is prepared accordingly. But normally the right-footed shooters hit according to the right on the right side of the goal.
Absolutely.
And the goalkeeper reacts accordingly. Similarly, for both the teams, the number of penalty takers will also be very important. If it goes to penalties, if it goes, it will be a long
So do you think that this, we can see the fate of this match being sealed in 90 minutes, or there are chances that this can go towards?
No, I think it will be finished during the 120 minutes. If not 90 minutes, it will be over by the extra time finish.
In this case, I think the fitness of the two teams can be very important.
Yes.
Now, coming into this, sir has truly remarked that the penalty kicks, this has become an art altogether. When you go to YouTube itself, you find players like Andre Pirlo and others who have mastered the art in the unique style and display. Now, coming into this match, I would like to mention another 2 players from France, Samuel Umtiti and Rafael Varane. They are playing defensively well, but as a whole, as a team combination altogether, what do you think, sir, that as far as set piece and other moments, which defense is more equipped to such situations? Because we have seen that France has scored in set piece situation, especially Griezmann taking the free kick, and even these players like Varane and Umtiti, they are in the score list. For example, the match against Uruguay itself, we have seen Varane scoring the goal, and again in the match against Belgium also, we saw Umtiti scoring the goal.
From a flag kick, from a side corner kick.
And it was a pretty good goal even. It wasn't a fluke. It really seemed like that Didier Deschamps had exact plans with that. So what do you think?
No, France is definitely more equipped on set pieces. Croatia, on the other hand, will again, Croatia has 2 things in their favor. They are the underdogs. Even if they lose, nobody will blame them. They have done very well. They have a midfield general like Luka Modric, who can control the game anytime. And they, since they are the underdogs, their players are expected to give more than 100%. So they can also produce a result in their favor. But French, on the other hand, man-to-man is better, more experienced, and with a coach like Didier Deschamps, they might pull off the rat under the sleeves.
We know that if France wins this World Cup, Didier Deschamps will be the third player after Mario Zagallo and Franz Beckenbauer, the German legend, to be the one player who will be winning World Cup as player and as coach. It will be really a big thing for someone like Didier Deschamps. Anyhow, coming to our Indian team or the Asian teams who are not in the world map of football itself, this World Cup, which began on 14 June and concluding today, we have seen 32 teams fighting it out, coming up with new strategies. What new things we have got? What teams like India can learn from this year's World Cup, sir? Your take on this?
India is doing well, I think. India, if you take the last World Cup to 2014 and 2018, in this 4 years, Indian football has progressed. First of all, in rankings, we have come up from 150 to 97. We have won about 3 tournaments, and quite convincingly. The Hero International Cup, the Hero, the 3 Nation Ties Series, and the SAF Cup, of course, I'm not considering.
Yeah.
But the 2 international tournaments, they beat Kenya and New Zealand. Kenya was a team that Kenya, New Zealand, and Chinese Taipei played. In one of the Indian players, Sunil Chetri, became the first Indian to score more than 50 goals in an international match and to play 100 matches. Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, the goalkeeper, was first who went to Europe and was the first goalkeeper to play in the Europa League for the Stabæk FC. So Indian football is going. Bangalore FC reached the finals of the AFC Cup.
Yeah.
And East Bengal also in 2013 reached the semi-finals, remaining unbeaten throughout the tournament till they lost to Kuwait FC in the semi-finals. Similarly, we also have the Indian Super League, which was installed in 2014, which has had a very favorable impact on Indian football. It brought the crowd back, it created a fervour, and the crowds which have lost, except for the derby, are really taking more interest in football. And we saw that also when the World Cup Under-17 was played. The real enthusiasm amongst the supporters and fans who filled up the stadium in no time. That semi-final match, which was transferred to Calcutta overnight, had also a packed house in that. So, and even in Indian football in I-League, there has been not only the 2 Indian giants, East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, there have been 2 small teams from small towns like Aizawl FC and Minerva from Punjab from Chandigarh, who have won the I-League. That means football is progressing. It is now becoming a more or less a pan-Indian game. It is not only located in Goa, Northeast, Kerala and West Bengal. Teams from other places are also doing well. So Indian football is definitely going up in the right direction. It is not that India will play the World Cup and win it next year. They're like the Chinese. We didn't have infrastructure. It was one of the areas where football was lacking. A lot of tournaments were closed, like DCM, Rovers Cup, where the players didn't have a chance to come. Stafford Cup, as I've mentioned. But the Indian football, due to the World Cup, has got a number of 8 brilliant football stadiums. And now, with the 2 leagues, ISL and I-League, and with, of course, the local leagues, and also with the Santosh Trophy, players are taking, again, more interest back into the game. And we'll definitely see a further upsurge in Indian football. We are having to play the AFC Asian Cup in a few months' time, and definitely India's performance, hopefully, will be good. And you see, the All India Football Federation are even working hard on the grassroots level, where our junior teams are faring reasonably well and having these junior league tournaments. Even the IFA, which has made the IFA Shield Under-19, is also a bold step. And so 10 or 12 years down the line, Indian football has a rosy picture of coming up. First of all, our target should not be the World Cup. I think our target should be the Asian top among top 3. We were the top in Asia in 1960-62, in the days of Balaraman, Chuningaswamy and P.K. Banerjee. We should go back to that spot. After that, we should take a step towards further to get into qualify to the World Cup.
Absolutely, sir. Sir is indeed right to say that all is not over for India. Rather, we have got a new dawn for Indian football. Anyhow, this has been a World Cup where we have seen for the first time World Cup being held in Eastern Europe, and for the first time a World Cup which is being held in both Europe and Asia, because if you see the geographical position of the stadiums we have seen. And thankfully, it has been a wonderful one for the hosts as well. The Russians played well, and we have seen small teams coming up with inspiring performances, and we have seen young players probably will be seeing the superstars, and players like Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi probably they have placed their last World Cups. Whichever team wins today, we are indeed happy. This 1 month has been a wonderful one for all the football enthusiasts, fans all over the world. Anyhow, all the good wishes to both the teams, France and Croatia. May the best team win. We are signing off in Googly Goals. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our Facebook page and also our YouTube channels. Goodbye.